The Sage Francis that we see today is much different than the one from back in the day, as it should be, right? Everybody grows and changes and ultimately should strive to become better. But there was a period of time when you were not Dad Francis. You were more angry, you were, more violent, or where did all that come from and how were you able to heal from that to get to this point now?
Growth, man. Life, just humility, loss, testosterone levels.
Testosterone levels.
That's what happens, man. You slow down and you start to realize, I'm going to hurt myself if I try that. So I'll take a, side seat and let other people do the dangerous stuff. I spoke pretty wildly for a long time. I didn't care about consequences. I, in fact, probably invited consequences. I felt invincible for many years, since like 14 years old. And I was correct. I didn't die the whole time. And now that's probably not the case anymore. So I have to switch my whole thing up.
The main thing that changed you was having kids?
I don't know. It was a slow leak. It was a slow burn. Yeah. I certainly would say that having kids and my actions reflect on them in some way, I'm sure. I need to be more aware of that. And I am more aware of that. And, but I also, I mean, your kids are not, your actions cannot be a reflection of your kids. People need to be smart enough to separate the two. But, I'd hate to answer for my father's misdeeds, but I really just want to raise good kids. I just want to have a healthy and happy family and thrive. And any negativity that exists, for me to invite that into our mix is a dumb idea. So I kind of do my best to remove myself from anything of the sort.
What is something you take away from your childhood, good or bad, that impacts how you parent today? Because I know recently you said you do almost everything the opposite of what your stepdad did with you when it comes to raising kids, except for the empathy part.
That's a good question. Our three kids are three different personalities. I was an only child. So I don't know how my parents would have dealt with having to
balance.
Balance it, spread their attention amongst each personality. Our oldest girl, I identify most with her. She's smart, but she's lazy, and tries to get away with not doing things and in ways that I used to do. So I have to let her understand that I relate to her in that way, and she's not going to fool me. And that's why it will upset me if she continues to pull certain tricks. I'm like, this is not going to work for me because I already did that.
Isn't it funny though? Like the stuff that triggers you is the stuff that reminds you of yourself though.
Yeah.
Because it's like looking in the mirror.
It is. Yeah. It's frustrating. It's frustrating because you recognize it in yourself and you're like, God, and you know it at the time. I just want them to grow up to understand discipline and work ethic and to be kind. And they are all kind. All of them are kind. Maybe not to one another all the time, but in social settings, they know how to act, which is great. But yeah, I'm still winging it. I mean, my wife and I, we're both kind of making it up as we go and trying to be as thoughtful and mindful as possible and not be pushovers. Make sure they understand what responsibility is, what consequences are, and why they exist. And I explain myself. I feel like I explain myself better than my parents did. I never say, 'cause I said so, I always give an explanation whether they accept it or not, but there's always an explanation for why we do what we do. It's not just random,
Right.
you know?
And I think that one of the more important things is being able to apologize to your kids when you're wrong, showing that humility, because I'm sure you come from the generation of when the parents don't say sorry. It's just like they just act like nothing happened and you just move on, basically.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I think it's very important. In fact, I had this conversation with them not too long ago. I'm not going to say with who, but one of our kids never says sorry. And I'll say something that they did and they don't accept accountability for it. And I say, I want you to understand that you need to accept accountability for what you do. At least acknowledge it so that your mom and I know that you should not be doing those things. And that those things kind of like stick out to me because I know adults like that, right? And I don't want them to turn into those kind of adults who are completely blameless all the time.
And it happens in a blink of an eye too, because time just goes by that quick, man. You know, with a snap of a finger. So yeah, that's crazy. All right, Sage, man, I just want to thank you so much for your time today. Is there anything else you want to say to the people before we go ahead and wrap it up?
Just like I said, I'm not sure where I'm going to exist in the future online, but you can always check out strangefamous.com or Bandcamp as long as that exists and is nice to their artists. Check out what we're doing. I guarantee if you're a hip hop head, we've got stuff that you're going to dig and be impressed by. Like, oh shit, people are still doing like still developing on that kind of concept or those kind of beat ideas. Yeah, we're doing it.
I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, sir.